That's
from
a
just
Disney
a little
movie.
kid. Yeah, exactly, a Disney movie.
You sound very connected to Sri Lanka.
The honest answer is I'm not sure. There is talent is not the issue in Sri Lanka. Yeah, that was a big feeling.
Do you have like a peak adrenaline rush or just a calm?
Someone overtakes me, I'm like, all right, I'm calm.
David's secret weapon. People do really need the steps to get there.
I want to be at F1. I want to be doing well in F1.
Born in London with roots that run deep in Sri Lankan soil, today's guest has gone from karting prodigy to making history on some of Europe's most iconic circuits. At just 18, he's fearless, he's determined, and carrying a hope of a nation with every lap. Sri Lankan lion on the track, they say. No pressure. He is Sri Lanka's first ever Formula 3 driver. Yevan David at the Champions Table, one golf is more.
Oh, the intro was very good. Loved it. Yeah.
No pressure though.
Absolutely.
Do you feel pressurized when we say you're carrying the hope of a nation?
Oh, not at all. I mean, like a lot of people might think it's pressure,
Yeah.
but I've been driving for such a long time, and the fact that the last few years people have been supporting me and encouraging, like it's just more support. So it's really fun. Yeah. When you say like Sri Lankan lion on track, it's like it gives
really?
chills and stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
This is the time after you met the Prime Minister. Last time we visited, and then you did a couple of interviews, and you're back here. How has it been?
Yeah, it's been very nice. Obviously, meeting the Prime Minister was such a pleasure. We had a quick chat about what her life is like and what my life is like and how I started in go-karting, and it was a huge honor to meet her. And in Sri Lanka, it's been amazing. I mean, a lot of media have asked to do interviews and stuff and are just supporting from every single aspect and posting on Instagram and everything. So I'm loving the support from all areas.
So far, this is the last race before the summer break and then 3 rounds left. Qualifying starts on Saturday. We've got practice tomorrow.
F3, you are going to participate in it, and the news was breaking all over the media outlets. How did it happen and how was the process?
Well, I was going into this Euro Formula season knowing that I had a chance to do really well, and if I did, that we go to F3. Usually, you do well in one category, you're going to go to the next. And the first few races, I was like, all right, we have a genuine shot here. We're going to start talking to F3 teams, and
That's
then
great.
by this month, we signed, and we got the call to go to F3. I've been watching F3 for a long time, and it's the first step racing on F1 weekends and stuff. And when the announcement came out a few weeks ago, I was like, wow, this is actually happening.
Great.
So, great feeling.
And we're just so proud of you as like a country.
Thanks.
You're the first Sri Lankan to go there. It's a huge thing for us. How does a race day look like to Yevan David?
Of course. So a race day, let's say on a Sunday, we have 2 races usually. Qualifying is on the day before. So I wake up, obviously go down for breakfast in the hotel. It's just a normal hotel, have the buffet. And usually my manager or my family is there, my coach, and I just talk, normal conversation. I'm okay with people talking to me and talking to them because I already know what I need to do on track, so it's not like my mind needs to be clear or anything. So I'm just talking about fun things. And then we get to the track probably an hour before the race, just talk to the engineer about what I need to do, depending on where we're starting, how the race is going to play out. And then obviously we have the race, we have a bit of a break, a few hours between the first race and the second race, where I'm analyzing and then also just kind of chilling, recovering. And then we do the last race, analyze the data and the video from the race to see what I could have done better, and then go home and usually travel in the evening back to home.
I heard that F3 is on the same day that F1 is happening.
Yes.
Have you been to one of the live races?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that must be huge for you.
First time I went and saw F3 was like 2022, but I've been watching since I've been watching F3 since I was 13, F1 since I was a baby. But the fact that like we're gonna be racing just a few hours before F1, and we're there when F1 is racing on the same circuit. It's such a cool feel. After races and in the paddock, we can see the other F1 drivers and get involved. And definitely in F2, you're gonna get more involved. So it's only upwards on the ladder.
Do people ever get surprised that you're Sri Lankan?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people abroad know of Sri Lanka and know what Sri Lanka is, like a small island in the Indian Ocean. But they never see a lot of athletes, especially in racing, going abroad. They do, in racing, sometimes in the GT department and in Asia, they remember Eshan Piris and Uncle Dilanta. But in F3 and in Euro Formula, they are quite surprised from where I'm from. But it's cool that they're starting to recognize Sri Lanka as international country and that it's getting more recognition.
I hope you know that you really converted a lot of the fans into this, because I was not a fan before, but now since we are closely monitoring your journey and want every update and supporting you. You had some of the actual boring, non-athletic, non-motorsportic people into this field.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I mean, there's friends that you never think would watch F1 but are watching it now, and some to see that where I'm gonna get to. So I hope one day we'll all be watching me there. But it's so cool to see. Honestly,
it's almost like cricket now. Cricket is a huge thing for Sri Lanka.
For sure. It's incredible, and I couldn't be more thankful for that support.
Sri Lanka can do that to you. No matter where you go in life to any other part of the world, your heart, your mind, your way of thinking, everything is linked to Sri Lanka.
Also, you mentioned that the Cars movie was a big inspiration for you. Did you ever imagine back then that could be your reality? And then you've also mentioned that you learn to not fall in love with the trophy, but the inside of it.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I'm like, that's so cute.
Yeah.
That's a Disney movie.
Kid. Yeah, exactly. A Disney movie, right?
Yeah.
And no, if I'm being honest, I never thought it would get to that stage. I mean, I knew it was possible because it's a dream.
Yeah.
But when I started watching Cars, 3-4 years old, maybe even younger.
Yeah.
I also started racing at 5 or 6 years old. I was just driving. I was just doing laps. I mean, I wanted to get to F1, but that was later. I was just thinking about now and having fun. And then when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I was like, whoa, okay.
Okay.
We're getting close. Yeah, we're getting close. And then when I was 15, I drove my first Formula 4 car. So yeah, cars inspired me a lot, but it wasn't just that. It was my parents that helped me into it. It was F1 that inspired me. It was Lewis Hamilton that inspired me, and Max Verstappen. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of factors, but I always knew there was an opportunity to get there.
So when you initially pitched this to your parents, think my passion leaned towards this way, how did they approach it? Because most of these childhood dreams, they come into fail, probably because the lack of motivation from their parents and not taking them a little seriously, because especially in Sri Lanka, education is one. Education comes with A-levels, O-levels. So you need to finish it first to get into whatever.
And then think about your career.
It's just your parents, kudos to them for really.
True. Yeah, actually. I mean, when I first started in 2014, we weren't sure or anything, and even I was just doing it for fun, not as a career, because I didn't know what the word career meant as a 6-year-old, but they were the one that actually pushed me to do it. And then since then, it was just 50-50 all the way. I would say actually until I was 10 years old, I was just doing it for fun. I always had the dream of F1, but not as a career goal, I'd say, if that makes sense. I wanted to, but I was just driving at the time. And then at 11 or 12, when, budget became a big thing, we actually had to make this possible with hard work, and my family had to do it. I was like, yeah, we're doing this. We're going all the way. There's no going back now, because we saw we had the talent. When I was 10, I won my first karting championship, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So, and they were happy to do it, because I feel like the one thing that kids have nowadays is when you have that hard work and that passion, your family will support no matter what. Even if it's O-levels and A-levels, when you're putting so much work into that, your family is going to support you. So that's what they did.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. And what was your game plan since Cars to Cars?
Yeah, from Cars to Cars. Yeah, from Cars to Formula Cars. So I mean, was starting when I was 3-4 years old. Obviously, I was driving to be the best. I was driving to have fun, and then as the years went on, I started to working out, going to the gym and stuff, because obviously at 9 years old, you can't really go to the gym too much.
Yes.
So at around 11 or 12, I started working out, and then at 13 and 14, I started, getting into mental strength and how that works.
Yeah.
And then by 15, it was kind of like all these pieces of puzzle came together, but the passion was still there from the very start. And it just kept adding to this block of passion. And when I was 16, I entered my first Formula 4 race, and I've kind of had the same personality since then. So
that's great.
Yeah.
What role does mental strength play in this?
Well, it's looking at every possible factor of why you're not winning. Let's say my last race, I came second. Okay, that's good. You got good points. You might still be in the lead of the championship. You might be second. But why didn't you win? Maybe it's not always your fault. Maybe it's like the car wasn't quick enough. Maybe you should have done an overtake earlier in the race. But it's still, there is always a reason to why you didn't finish first. So I always look at those reasons or mistakes or areas that I can improve and say, all right, we need to do that better. And in the process of fixing those mistakes, my mind gets stronger and stronger. I'm able to focus more because I'm not making those mistakes, because I know what those mistakes are. And it's just that cycle that keeps making your mind stronger. And
Has it been overwhelming, the process?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, not the whole thing, but there have been times where it's been like, whoa, okay, I need to calm down a bit. But I would say the most was like last year. I had a lot of series of bad races and I actually didn't know what to do anymore because it was just an overload, right? It might not be one mistake, it might be 10 and you just don't know. But then I learned to believe in myself, I learned to calm down, and since then it's been much, much less. Even races this year we've seen there can be bad moments, there can be crashes and stuff, but much more calm because of the mental strength that's happened.
David taking a very aggressive inside line, swapping all over the back of the BDM car. Kaharchik with the advantage so far, defending well against the imposing...
You lived in a transition between several countries.
Yes.
And I think you just give that vibe. You give a lot of multicultural vibes, and I think that adds up to your personality and who you are. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my roots are Sri Lanka. It's always going to be connected to here.
Yes.
But I feel like I'm connected to the world because I grew up in Singapore, which was, you know, very Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And now I live in Dubai, and I love the Middle Eastern culture as well.
How does the temperature affect you?
I mean, after growing up in Singapore and Sri Lanka, I can get used to the Middle East, but it's still quite bad. But then there's also the European aspect. I've spent all my life racing in Europe and just speaking to people all around Europe. So I feel like I know a little bit about every country and I'm slightly connected. But obviously my roots always come back to Sri Lanka, and this is the one country that feels like home. But yeah, I love to stay connected to the world.
That's actually something I want to touch as well, because you sound very connected to Sri Lanka and you have so much passion, so much love to this country, and you inspire these little kids. And they actually really look up to you, which they should at their age. How does this come from? This is so beautiful for us. But you know, it's always nice to. And I watched your TikToks. Like they took
the
TikTok
one, the one that went viral. Yes.
Yes, that's pretty. That's so funny. It's lovely to see that version. And how do you think they're keeping that side alive?
I mean, obviously my family has played a big role because we're always coming back to Sri Lanka. We're always going on trips. I mean, I think every year I've gone down south and we're always going to Kandy and Nuwara, and we're exploring these places and feeling connected to the country. But more than anything, the people here. I mean, the last few years, like you said, the support that I'm getting, it makes me feel so connected. And I always want to come back just to, you know, be with the people who are supporting me. And then obviously Sri Lanka, I've been here since I was born and like a little kid. So I have all my family friends here and my cousins. That make me feel like home. So the more I'm here, the more I feel connected, and I just want to keep coming back. And this year I have actually been here like pretty much every other month, and I've really enjoyed it.
Who's your favorite F1 driver?
Right now, it's Lewis and Max. Probably a little bit more Lewis, but those two always have been.
And at just 18, how does the word legacy sound like to you?
There's a lot of factors that go into the word legacy. You know, it's who you are, it's what you've done, it's the passion you have, it's the work you've put into to be who you are. But the word legacy means purely who you are. That's it. Who you are, what you've brought to your sport, what you've brought to your passion, and the rest is history. You know, it's a big word, but in the end, it does not reflect on your achievements. It does not reflect on your mistakes. Reflects on who you are at the end of the journey, and that's it.
At 18, you've learned so much about life. That's so
I mean,
inspiring.
I'm very thankful that I've learned so much, if I'm being honest, because after living in so many different places and being with so many different people, I've learned like all the different aspects of how to think, how to look at life and everything. And now I have like a mindset that has been, you know, like cherry picked from every single one. I'm happy to have this mindset, seriously.
With so many young people looking up to you, I would say adults too. What role does social media play in your life? Is it just about visibility? Is that your creative outlet? And do you hope to inspire youngsters?
Well, I love it. I mean, social media, especially Instagram, is just a way of like my creativity, like the tuk-tuk reel
Yeah,
and things
it's so
like that.
funny.
Yeah, I love just
swear.
doing fun things and just, showing my personality, right?
Yeah.
But alongside that, obviously, I want to show my journey in racing. I want to inspire as well. And, I'd love to keep people updated who are interested on what I'm doing and stuff. So I don't separate personal life and racing life because racing is my personal life. There's no separation. So I'm fine to post whatever and just show my personality.
I think that's why people feel so connected to you, because there's nothing in between.
Exactly, there's no barrier. And I like that because then people actually feel connected, which is what I want them to feel.
Do you actually have experienced this cash card moment?
Oh no, I mean, I haven't experienced it, but I
But
know
you know
that
what's going
I know
on.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I take tuk all the time to the gym
Yeah.
and back. So
Alright.
I always pay in cash just to not
No,
not
no,
have the
no.
confusion. But yeah.
All right. We just try their patience all the time. So out of racing, who's Yevan David and what's his other passions? I know that you like to play Lego. You have a collection.
Yes.
We are there. And you have a great Star Wars collection.
Yes.
We also there. Please
Yeah.
tell us a bit about that and other passions as well.
Yes, so let's start off with the Lego
All right.
passion. Lego is, along with cars and along with F1 and Lewis Hamilton when I was younger, there was Lego alongside that as
Yeah.
well. I loved building cars, I loved building buildings, and Star Wars since I was younger. And I think like a month ago, I got this huge 1-meter Star Wars ship for my birthday.
Yeah.
That was my 18th birthday, no car or anything, just a massive Lego ship, because that's still my passion as well. So I love doing that. I have a whole room filled with that. And then other than Lego and stuff, obviously I'm always driving at the sim at home. I love to play basketball. I love to go surfing in Sri Lanka down south.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess my next hobby is probably movies. I love to watch movies, especially with family.
What's
so yeah.
your favorite movie at the time?
I mean, I like old classics, but I also like modern. So like Back to the Future from back then was good. All the Star Wars movies are my favorites as well. And the movie Creed, the boxing movies, I really like that. So yeah.
And you're into basketball?
Oh, huge. Yeah. So, I mean, one of my biggest passions is watching the NBA. I'd probably watch NBA more than F1 now because I just love basketball so much. So yeah.
So are you hoping to sort of pursue that side as well? A
I mean,
possibility at least?
If I wasn't racing from when I was younger, I'd probably be playing basketball. But the thing is, basketball is a sport where you can get injured easily, so I don't play it that often, just in case. But I'm definitely going to be playing basketball for a long time. So yeah.
That's great. And Yevan, a very personal question. If you were born in Sri Lanka, like limited resources in Sri Lanka, with great passion, the passion you had, do you think you'll be here?
If I'm being honest, if I'd started here, I would have done the same process, which is practice every weekend, done the karting stuff. But the only way I would have made it to where I am now is go on and race abroad.
Yeah.
So obviously I would have ended up in the same situation, which is racing in Europe, racing all over Asia. But the actual funding and the budget part of it is very difficult. I think, having my parents working abroad, working in different areas of the world. My dad has worked in London, in Singapore, and Dubai. That's really helped us get to where we are. So the honest answer is I'm not sure if we had still made it, if we had stayed in Sri Lanka, but I definitely would have gotten to the same place in terms of race in Asia, race in Europe. We will never know if I would have made it to Formula Cars, but that's a question for next time. Yeah, I mean, obviously, even when I come back to Sri Lanka and I go karting with my friends here and stuff, I see that there's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
There are races, car races in Katakudanda as well, and they're pure talent, talent is not the issue in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So it's great to see that, honestly.
And on the early stages, I know when you win a couple of races, obviously the media is going to know you and the nation is going to get behind you and support you towards the win, the ultimate win, which is F1. But in the early stage, who supported you from Sri Lanka, organizers, let's say, other than your family?
Yeah, well, obviously after starting in 2014 up to 2023, the first real support that I had was Merckstop from Sri Lanka, from a sponsorship side, and since then we've had Puredale and Santani that have came along the journey this year. So obviously we're open to any collaborations and any sponsorship to work with anybody, but the first one that really believed in me from Sri Lanka and that we're still working with is Merckstop, so
That's
huge
great.
shout out to them. And yeah, it's been a journey with them since 2023. It's been a long journey for us, but the support from Sri Lanka has really started the last few years, so thankful for that.
How did you feel like to know that someone's having your back, which is not your family? And
Yeah, that was a big feeling. Honestly, and it was not only that, it was going into Formula 4 for the first time, so from karting. And I was like, all right, there's people starting to believe in me. Let's do this. And it was just pure motivation. Can't even explain it. But yeah, I was just so happy.
like when racing, do you have like a peak adrenaline rush or just a calm sort of thing?
I mean, I have like a calm mindset in terms of not letting emotions cloud my judgment. Like if someone overtakes me, I'm like, all right, I'm calm.
Okay.
But the adrenaline rush is something I can't explain. It's just driving a car that makes me so happy from like internally, and that adrenaline rush is there. And usually after a race, like maybe a week after or 2 weeks after without racing, I sometimes like struggle to function because I just don't have that feeling of driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a big thing that a lot of people don't know, is that I just need that adrenaline. So sometimes I go surfing or play basketball and stuff just to feel that adrenaline because I just need something, you know? So huge adrenaline junkie for me. I think that's the main thing that's fueling my passion for driving.
Yeah. Do you have like a secret weapon, like a reaction time? Those are sort of, lookouts, but then Yevan David's secret weapon.
I mean, yeah, the reaction time and stuff is there. I feel like I just have really high hand-eye coordination. So video games or, just little games like maybe table tennis or pool, I really do well in those games. Well, I enjoy it because, yeah, I feel like the hand-eye coordination in me is very high, and obviously I've raced for so many years that it's been developed. So yeah, that's a big thing for me.
So what's Yevan David's ultimate goal, and where do you think that you would be in another 5-10 years? What I also love about you is that you fall in love with the process, not just the end result. And that's so inspiring because people do really need the steps to get there. Other than just saying, my goal was this, so I sort of worked for it. You make sure you mention every step of the way and passionately. Please tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I look at it in a way, with the next 5 years, I want to be at F1. I want to be doing well in F1, probably in my rookie season or my second year, and actually making a name for myself. But to actually get there, to actually do the goal, is the process of getting there. So what does the process mean? For me, it's looking at making no mistakes on every lap I do, focusing on every single corner, focusing on every single gym workout, focusing on every single sim preparation, and that's it. You do those things well over and over again within the next few years, and you will get there. Even if you've done all that perfectly and the stars don't align and you're not in F1, I'd be okay because I know I've put everything in and it just wasn't for me. But that process is what I'm focused on. The end goal is something that I'm thinking about at the end, not right now. So the process is what's going to fuel the goal to be in F1 in 5 years.
Wherever your path takes you, even all the way to F1, we've been cheering you. We'll support you as you take Sri Lanka around the corner. And thank you for making us feel a little prouder to be a Sri Lankan and letting us call you one of our own.
Of course, yes. Thank you very much for having me, and appreciate all the support as always.
Thank you so much for joining.